Welcome to Andrea Lake 101, the making of a billionaire. You guys, we have the illustrious, beautiful, fantastic, marvelous Ms. MeiMei Fox joining us once again. Good friend of the show. MeiMei, welcome.
Thank you, Andrea. So happy to be here, as always.
MeiMei Fox is not just a New York Times #1 bestselling author who freaking co-authored a book with the Dalai Lama. She also is the author of my upcoming book called You're Gonna Think I'm a Pathological Liar. She's written books for lots of people. She's amazing and extraordinary, and she helps people write their own best-selling book, which you can find at yourbestsellingbook.com, and you can follow her at MeiMei Fox on Instagram, MEIFOX. So we are going to do an episode that we've been talking about for a while here.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we really have. We really have. It is called Dirty Tea. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I am drinking a glass of wine. I'm drinking Sancerre white wine because I heard that is Taylor Swift's favorite. So I was like, haven't been much of a white wine girly, but I'm going to give it a shot. Thanks, Taylor.
Oh, I love Sancerre. And by the way, the only reason I'm not drinking is because it's quite a bit earlier here in Hawaii. But
it is. I said it's 10:30 in the morning. You do not have to have any wine.
A little early.
It's only like 12:30 here, but I'm like, I'll have a glass for the people, for the pod, because I will spill more tea with a little wine. So Ms. MeiMei is a very, very good friend of mine, and she gets the Andrea Lake 101 private MeiMei Fox X-Files edition. So she knows everything. And we have been saying that we need to do an episode where MeiMei just gets to ask me whatever she wants, and then I just go ahead and cut out anything I can't legally say before it makes the air. So
we are going to have so much fun.
So much fun. No holds barred. Nothing is off limits. Ms. Fox, can you confirm that I do not know the questions that you are about to ask me?
Confirmed.
Without further ado, this is like a Fireside Friday where MeiMei is going to be interviewing me, except for there's going to be some dirty tea involved. Please.
So it's going to start with, you told me I could ask anything.
Anything.
And Andrew does not know what I'm going to ask. So
nothing. I have no idea.
We are going in for the personal life. This is something I follow the pod. I love it. For the record, I am probably fanatic fan number 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't know, somewhere in the top 5, because I'm an entrepreneur and I get all this fantastic business advice. And of course, in part because I am a storyteller, I always want like, but who are you? And where do you come from? And you've talked a little bit about it, and you had a great podcast with your brother, David, who talked to you about your childhood and your life. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, let's go. Are you single? Are you dating? Like you said, I could ask anything.
Anything. Girl, I am single as a Pringle. Yep. I have not been on a date in 7 years.
What? 7 years? Come on. And it's obviously not because you're not being asked out on a date. Obviously, because you're brilliant. You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're successful, and you go to a lot of events.
I do. And I just haven't met anyone I wanted to date. Like, I took a year off of dating in 2019, and I was like, 2020 is going to be my year.
Good one.
Yeah. It's like I haven't kissed somebody in 7 years. Nothing. Not a date, not a one. And it's really just that I very rarely meet men that capture my attention. It's incredibly rare for me. It's, it's a high bar. And I literally just haven't met anyone that I wanted to date. I had one person that was like very almost situationshipy. Well, I was super interested, and he seemed quite interested as well. But it was just not. It was a push-pull situation. You can't do those.
Okay, slow down, because this is the dirty tea. Have another sip of wine.
Dirty tea. Yes, please, let's go. Okay. I've only had like 2 sips, so I'll have a big.
All right, so you're like 2020 is gonna be my year, and then just in case anybody's forgotten, that's when the pandemic hit. I just need to remind you.
Just in case we have collective amnesia to when we were locked in our houses.
Or in case you were like 5 years old when it happened. Yeah. That was so COVID hit in like January. If you were 5 years old
when it happened, it's inappropriate for you to watch a dirty tea
episode. Yeah, please don't watch this. So that didn't happen, but like, okay, girl. So who is your type?
Okay. Extraordinary.
I would
Very,
hope
very
so.
passionate about what they do. Super successful, of course, in their field. That doesn't mean gazillionaires, although they usually, generally speaking, gazillionaires, but more like super passionate about life. They always have a weird hobby, just like I do with the Legos. They always have something like, I don't give a shit if they want to go play Dungeons and Dragons with their friend, or they have some video game they're very into playing for several hours a week, 5 or 10 hours a week. It's cool by me, because I want to sit there with not another person and do Legos. I don't want to be, I'm not like a do Legos with somebody else person unless they are doing their set and I am doing my set. So strange. And I want to watch my show when I do that. So if that's important. Basically just passionate about his life, what he does, and kind, a truly kind person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that would
Mm-hmm.
be important.
Yeah.
In preschool, they call it parallel play. Parallel
Oh,
play. Yes,
I
that's a
don't that
thing.
I didn't know that. That's so
Parallel play is a
cute.
thing. Yeah, that's what kids start out doing when kids first have play dates when they're like preschool age. They don't play together in creating imaginary worlds. They do parallel play. And like, like I play with my truck, you play with your doll. Yeah. So I love that. I love this idea of like you want someone you can parallel play with,
I do.
but you don't have to be like actively engaged in. So you don't want to attach yourself to someone and become one unit and do everything together. That is not your dream relationship.
I like to do lots of things together. And I really like my own personal private time. Like when the lockdowns happened, I was like, no fucking problemo. Mommy can sit in the house for a year by herself, no worries at all whatsoever. Yeah. I was built for
Okay.
this. Yeah.
So what kind of things do you like to do together?
Oh, well, hiking, but I also do like to hike by myself. And then just like the basics. Just like one of my favorite things used to be to get the newspaper, because I wrote into this interview on a pterodactyl, and drink some coffee and like read the paper together. But now,
Mm,
usually, if I'm dating somebody, we'll like have coffee and kind of look at Zillow, because I love to look at real estate. And then, take the dogs on a hike, go outside, be outside for sure, maybe have a cocktail, go shoot some pool, just chill out with friends. I also really, really love to host. And so if I get someone, I was dating somebody who also really, really liked to host. And so we would just throw like joint potlucks and joint gatherings for our friends. And
that's a nice vision of relationship. I assume they're a dog person, since
oh,
you said take
it
our
has
dogs
to
for a
be,
walk.
has to be
Okay, because that wasn't on the list. Has to be a
crucial,
dog person.
crucial.
Kids, no kids.
Well, generally speaking, the men that I date do have kids, but it's either way for me. I love being like the cool older woman in someone's life. And there's never any confusion about trying to co-parent. When I date somebody with kids, I'm like, I am their dad's girlfriend. I am not a parent to that child. And
Right.
plus, the men that I date, generally speaking, have grown children. So
Yeah, right. Correct.
grownish.
So do you date younger men?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I do not. I do not. And I keep getting asked, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I am. Thank you. That is biologically backwards for me. No, I date men
Okay.
my age to like 5, 7 something years older. But I
Okay.
like to have the commonality of reference of dating someone similar in age. Personally, I know a lot of people date quite older or quite younger, but I like the. Can I tell a story?
Of course.
I don't even know why I
It's
asked.
what we're here
It's
for,
my show.
girlfriend.
It's my
Yeah.
show.
It's what we're here for. We live for stories.
Baby, this
Mm.
is what we came for. So I need a guy who knows what to do in this exact situation, and this answer is going to vary by person. And spoiler alert, there is no wrong answer, because it's very dependent on your life experience. What do you do if you are standing outside and you are about to get picked up from the mall by your mom, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and she was supposed to get there at 3:30? Do you stay outside and wait? Because if you go inside to find a payphone, use a payphone, call your mom, figure out what happened, because she might really just be at the house and have forgotten about you. But if you go inside to use the payphone, she might be like, oh, they started walking home, whatever. I'll just see them at home and bounce. There's only a
So
specific age range of
I was
people
going to say, so you were
that
a
dealt with that
child of the
problem.
80s, as am I.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right.
Yep.
How did that water taste coming out of the garden hose? Can you confirm that that was a real thing?
That I read a thing recently that was our water bottle, right? We didn't
Literally.
have water bottles. We literally, yeah, I literally went up to random person's yard, grabbed their garden hose, and drank out of it.
Absolutely.
That's a
Can
true
confirm.
story.
Can
Can
confirm.
confirm numerous times.
Because we were fucking
Um,
locked out of our own houses. Can confirm. That's a true thing. We
yeah,
were feral
yeah.
children. Just
We
we
were
were
feral
taking care of
children
ourselves. We were figuring it out as we went along. Mhm.
entirely. Um,
Mhm.
I love that. So that's like a litmus test question. Do you
Yeah.
have a litmus test that you give people? I'll give you an example. My litmus test, not surprisingly, it sounds almost trite given that my company is called Your Best-Selling Book, is the bookshelf test. But I had this long before my company, but I have the bookshelf test, which
Girl.
is you do not have to have a huge bookshelf because I understand not all people like to have giant collections.
Mhm.
However, you better have some effing goddamn books in your house, physical books, and they cannot all be what I call drugstore books,
Oh, right.
which is like Anthony Balducci or, whatever, just romantic-y trash. Like there have to
Michael
be
Crichton.
Michael Crichton, exactly. There have to be some genuine literature, poetry, art in your house.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's a no.
Oh, I judge the shit out of people by their bookshelf. And my bookshelf is highly curated. When I'm in Sedona and it's behind me, you can look at any title and I stand by that title. Uh-huh. Oh, I judge the shit out of people on their bookshelf. And if a man is courting me, his bookshelf better be right.
Excellent. So he does have to pass the bookshelf test.
Oh, for
He has to
sure.
have a dog. He
No,
has to
no,
be
he doesn't
your
have to have
age
a
or
dog. He has to
older.
love dogs.
Oh, just love dogs. Okay.
Mhm.
Has to be your age or older.
Yeah.
What about vegan, vegetarian? How are you
No,
on that?
I'm vegetarian,
No.
but I
Okay.
absolutely do not require that from someone else. I
Okay.
literally don't like the taste of meat. I have a weird. It's like this is so dumb, but at some point I'll explain this. Some people like they have a gene where if they eat cilantro, it tastes like soap.
Yeah.
I have that, but meat. I'm not even. It tastes so disgusting to me. And some people have like a little gene where if they eat meat, it literally tastes like a decomposing thing, and so it tastes disgusting to me. It doesn't matter how good it smells. So I went. I'm not even joking. This is a crazy
I
story.
had no idea. I knew about
Yeah,
cilantro
this
and
is
I didn't
not
know about meat, but I believe it.
this is not the common knowledge. So I went to when I was doing Zoko Inc. because I'm a pathological liar. So I'll just tell the story.
Yeah.
When I was doing Zoko Inc., I went to the Deepak Chopra Center and I met with Dr. David Simon, who was Deepak Chopra's business partner. And he was doing this Ayurvedic thing for me because we were talking about taking over the Chopra website from when I had Zoko and was doing Gary Zukov and Don Miguel Ruiz's websites.
Mhm.
And so he's doing this Ayurvedic thing for me, like, oh, you probably like this food, this food, this food, this food. And then I told him, I said, ever since I was a little kid, I hated meat. And he's like, why? And I said, it tastes like decomposing flesh. It tastes like death smells. That's how meat tastes to me. And it doesn't matter how good it tastes before it goes in my mouth. That's how it tastes if I bite into it. And he's like, oh, that's actually a thing. And I was like, are you serious? He's like,
No
yeah,
kidding.
he said it's not very common. It's a smell dysmorphia, which a lot more people understand now after COVID, which people came out with scent dysphoria. And so it can smell
Yes.
delicious to me. I ate Haru and Goye Kishi made steak at Summit at Sea. And I went to their private thing and I was like, I'm going to try a bite of their steak because their food is insane. I kid you not, this Michelin star steak, I spit it out and I was like, I should know better. I know it does but it smelled so good. But yeah, it's a real
Mm.
thing.
Okay.
That was too
Fascinating
long.
little
I might cut that
tangent.
out because that's
No,
so
no, don't.
repetitive
I
to
think it's
people.
fascinating. No, truly, I do. And I've never liked red meat. So I have a similar thing. Like from the time I was a
Yep,
little kid,
yep,
my
me
mom
too.
would serve lamb, steak, burger. I hated it. The whole family would go to McDonald's. This was pre-chicken nuggets, people. That's how old I am. And when they came out with chicken nuggets, I was so happy because my family would all get burgers and I didn't like I never liked the taste of beef, lamb, pork.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I,
Yes,
I
and
think it's
so
cool.
when I was a little kid, like I would loved McDonald's Big Mac. I loved anything that was covered in like so many sauces that I couldn't taste the flavor of a thing. But I hated like chicken off a bone, ribs, anything where there wasn't that
Hmm.
much, anything where it just whatever. And you weren't allowed to be a picky eater in the 80s. Okay, mom was busy. You were not
Oh,
getting separate meals. Like, so the moment that I
no.
could be vegetarian, I think I was 14 when I became vegetarian for the first time. And then
Oh,
after a couple years, I was so severely anemic that I ate meat for like 6 months and
oh,
learned
wow.
about nutrition because you, in fact, can be vegetarian while you're eating grilled cheese and ranch dressing every day with French fries at Denny's.
Yeah. Oh, yes. For the record, I learned that too when I gained 30 pounds being vegetarian at 16 because vegetarian does not equal healthy people. You got it like
Correct.
that. That's an extra step.
Vegetarians like junk food too. Just fucking spoiler
Yeah.
alert. There's a Mr. Charlie's. There's 2 Mr. Charlie's coming into San Diego, and we have Plant Power in San Diego. We have a strong and Ben and
Mm.
Nestor's Jewish deli, which is a vegan deli. Gorilla Sushi. We have a strong vegetarian junk food game here. Oh yeah. Curry Nation Pizza in San
I
Diego has a
cannot wait to
strong vegan
visit.
menu. Oh,
Oh my
it's
God. Can't
amazingly good.
wait.
But that doesn't mean that you're eating healthy at all
No,
whatsoever.
no.
No.
Okay, so back to the personal life because I'm not getting off the tangent of men. We're on the topic about, well, I don't want
You
to,
see,
okay, I don't want to, I mean, I know, but just today, can I call you out on that? Are you willing to share your sexuality with the listeners of your
oh, I
podcast?
am
Because you,
so unfortunately very straight.
okay.
I'm not even bi. I literally I would be
God
married if
damn
I
it.
was I know. If I was attracted to women, I always say, "Oh, I would be one of the leaders of the L in the fucking alphabet mafia."
Yes, you would.
I wish I was because I think women are beautiful and sexy, and sometimes when I am so fucking fed up with men and their bull ass shit, I cannot believe I'm attracted to them. So I very, very clearly state sexuality is not a choice because I would choose.
Because I would choose.
Yeah, I would. If I could just be like, no, that's it. That's what I actually really am attracted to. Oh, let's fucking go. But
Okay. Okay.
I'm
So I just
straight.
want to, I realized I should have clarified that before I went in with the question line of questioning, but then you said they should be this, they should be this. And I was like, oh, we're going gender
Oh, right,
neutral on
right. No,
this. Okay. But okay.
no, I'm
So,
just a woke PC kind of a gal.
you're just, well, yeah, it's nice of you. I like that. Okay. So they are, and they could have kids, could not have kids, but
Yes.
they should be single, please.
The degree to which I judge
Don't
men
be
who
married.
the degree to which I judge the very many, 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 many men over the years who have been in a relationship and told me I would leave this relationship to be with you. I'm like, in what universe do you think that I find that attractive?
Can you tell us one of those stories in a generic way
Oh,
without naming names or
sure.
name names if you want? I don't care. But that's why I had to bring up the point.
I have more than
Not
one.
fun to be hit on by married men.
No.
For the
No, ma'am.
record, married men, not fun.
No, ma'am. So on episode 20, which was an episode about The Apprentice that I just happened to have to review for something the other day,
Okay.
I popped on a fake 4.5 carat diamond ring that when I bought it looked real. A wedding ring that
Hmm.
I used to wear all of the time so that I would not be constantly hit on by men. I know I sound like an asshole when I say that, but like, you guys, I'm 5'10" and I was a yoga chick. I really did look like a Victoria's Secret model. And so I would just get hit on constantly when I was out. And I did not want to deal with that because sometimes men do not take it well if you do not
Mm.
want to receive their attention. And so which often you'll see me even on here wearing like a band on my wedding finger and I'm single as a Pringle. So I was at the Milken Institute and I was walking very fast to get to something important. And this very attractive guy came up to me and he was walking equal pace with me. And he was like, I've been seeing you around the conference. And there were like 4 women at the Milken Institute back then. They do a fantastic job now, but it was like slim pickings there. I know there was like, I'm going to say less than 10% women.
Was this the Apprentice era, like
It
20
was. Oh,
years
no, you
ago?
guys,
Okay.
American Institute does a fantastic, fantastic job now, and I could be
Okay.
misremembering. This is an incredibly long time ago, but there was just a bunch of men back then, and they have done a fantastic job of transitioning that over the years. This would have been
Yay.
2006. Yes.
Okay.
They do a fantastic job everywhere with diversity and including so many countries around the world. They're a wonderful organization. Thank you for my free ticket to Milken last year. I would take one this year. If you gave it to me. I love you guys. I really would, and I'd talk about it on the show. So I might be speaking there
Ooh.
in 2026. I think so. I need to reach out to my girls who work there. I need to reach out to my ladies who format the content at the Milken Institute. Hello. I have
Hi.
a bunch of good friends that are with the Milken Institute and also who attend the Milken Institute on a regular basis. So I was walking very fast to get to where I'm going. This guy comes and equals my pace. He's like, I have been seeing you around here. I'm like, I am 6'2" in 5-inch heels. I'm certain that you have. And I looked down very quickly and noticed that he has a wedding ring on. And so I'm like, cool, cool. I just think like, oh, he's a fan of The Apprentice, right? Nay, nay, may, may.
Nay, nay.
No, he would like to ask me out on a date that night. And I was like, oh, are you in an open marriage? And he
Mhm.
was like, well, and he like dodges the question. And I said, how would your wife feel about this date that we're going to go on tonight? And he was like, ugh, ugh. And I was like, thank you.
Yay.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
So thank you. So yes, please, let's be single.
Yes, please. How about if you just exclude yourself from my dating pool forever with that question?
Thank you very much.
I would love to know the conference that I am not at. The women that you approached there. I was on a first class flight actually back from Sydney, and I had this guy had a layover in Los Angeles, and I was talking with such an attractive guy. And when he sat down, I said, "Don't you love that?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "When you sit down to a really attractive person on a plane," because we were both really attractive. And he was like, "I just really do." And he did not have a wedding ring on, but then he disclosed to me that he was married.
Darn it.
And I'm consoling him because he had literally was flying to America to go to his father's funeral. I said, oh my God, I lost my father. So we're, having a deeper conversation than you would have and we're talking to each other because everybody didn't have the internet to occupy themselves. It's a long time ago. And he invited me to a tryst in a hotel room on his layover.
Dang.
And I was like, first of all, everybody live your life. If you get after it. I'm like a sort of court me for a long time, monogamous kind of a gal. I did not go to the hotel room.
You didn't.
No, but he looked at me. He's like, I bet you're like a tiger. I was like, stop it right now. You are so very married. You are way too married to be sitting this closely to me right now.
Darn it. All right.
Happens all the
We're
time.
doing our list. We're doing our list. Okay, don't be married
Be
or
single.
in a serious relationship.
No, do not that. There was one person that I really did flirt with back who was in a serious
Okay.
I really did flirt with him back because he was like
Okay.
on the brink of breaking up.
All
And
right.
I knew that that was not a great thing to do. And then I actually, at the most recent summit, talked to this woman because she also is in our business group. And I was like, I am so very sorry. I thought it was going to be over tomorrow. And it wasn't. That was so inappropriate of him. And it was so inappropriate of me to be receptive. But I was very clear with him. I was like, if you break up, I am right here. If when.
Yeah.
If when.
If when you are broken up.
But
Yeah.
he, in fact, did not break up. And instead he cheated on her with someone who is the person that he's in a relationship with now. And that is so fucking gross to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
the
I'm
thing
like, it's just really unnecessary. Just be honest
yeah,
with
why?
what you want.
Yeah, why not just
Good
break up
question.
and then
Really
get in the
good
new
question. You should
relationship?
ask him that question. He knows who he
And
is. He
also,
watches
all
this
the
show. He
women,
watches this show and he knows who he is.
okay,
Ask him dirty
hello.
tea.
Also, all the women and men and women, because women do this too, who are married and then you have an affair and then you're
Oh, for
like,
sure. Oh, for sure.
so why do
Both
you
sides.
think, why do you think that this pattern is not going to repeat itself?
Exactly.
Like,
It 1,000,000% for sure will.
it
Or
a
well,
million
but
percent will.
in some cases
Well,
it
some
doesn't.
cases it
In some
doesn't.
cases it doesn't.
But
That's
then
true.
again, so then make that clear that that's your intention, break up with the other person. And if this is the love of your life and you're certain of it, then go break up and get together with this person.
Absolutely yes. Because the problem is the lying. The problem is not like, oh, I met somebody that I was
Yes.
very interested in.
Yes.
And also I would like to be clear, it's very different to me if a man that the particular man that I'm thinking of, no children were involved. That is a very
Okay.
different situation to me.
Yes. Very much easier to extract yourself.
And they were also not married.
Wow.
Right. So they were dating.
So
And
very much easier to extract yourself.
yes. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, if you're not happy in that relationship, then it seems as if you should maybe be in a different, you should move on and break up.
Seems like an easy answer if you're really interested. Okay. What else?
It
Okay.
does.
What else? Tell us more about this, like being extraordinary. Like, can you tell us, is there anyone that you want to talk about who you have dated and what made them extraordinary and what you mean by that? Because that could be very different for very different people.
It is, and it's very different in the different men that I've dated. That it's not
Okay.
like there's not like a cookie cutter, but in general, they're super passionate about whatever they're passionate about, which in my case, generally speaking, that's business.
Yeah.
Because I also am passionate about business. And so many men were like, oh my God, I like sort of didn't realize a woman like you was an option. I've heard that a lot. I didn't
Yes.
realize that somebody could understand every single thing about business. And then you have this fucking wacky Legos hobby that you just want to go do by yourself. And you're like, go out with the boys. I love my alone time. You go have fun. Because
Yeah.
because I'm so clear of like, if there comes to be a point where you would like to be, I've had this conversation with every man I've ever dated. If there comes a point where you would like to be with somebody who is not me, then you just go ahead and tell me that. We do not have children together. There's nothing binding us to each other. And just in general, me, because I haven't been married, I haven't like crossed over my money. And so it's so
Right.
easy to, nobody is dependent on anyone in the relationships that I'm in. People come and go at will. There's no additional pressure to stay in something that's not a thing if someone is dating me.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
that is very true. If you have
Yeah.
your finances are not entwined, you don't have children together, then yeah,
Yeah.
like you
And
said.
this guy I talk about on the show a lot, Jack, he and I actually started a business together. He and I started Zoco Inc. together. So we were financially intertwined in a couple of different ways. And Jack is Jack. And Jack always will have a place in my heart. He's very happily married. I am very happily for him. He's been married for years and years and years. And if we would have wanted to get married, we would have been married. Nobody is jealous in this situation. But when Jack and I broke up, obviously not his real name, um, he just gave me Zoco. He's like, here you go, hon. Here you go.
Oh.
You just have this. I said, do you want royalties? Do you want a pay? No, babe, come on. It's ridiculous. I want you to be happy. And when I was really struggling, I'm really struggling. It's 2008. And I've said something small on the phone to Jack. Like, I need XYZ. I need to like secure this new house that I'm going to move into because I'm going to move to San Diego and rebuild my sticker business and whatever. Because I was working on that company again and a couple other things. And Jack was like, what do you mean you're struggling? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have any cash right now because of blah, blah, blah. And he literally, I got a FedEx the next day with a check, a large check, a big check. And
Wow.
and like some little note that was written in his fucking should have been a doctor's scrawled handwriting that was like, you should never be struggling.
Oh,
I
what a
know.
good man. What a
He's
good
such a good man.
person.
Yeah, he really was. And I
Yeah.
went and got a cottage the next day in La Jolla. I'm not joking.
Oh,
Yeah. And
that's a
moved
beautiful
because I was like,
story.
I can't afford to get this thing that I want. And he's like, you should never be in a position where you can't have what you want. And I was like,
Mm,
do that, boys. Do that always. Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
So the guy needs to be probably extraordinary in business.
Hmm. Yeah. I have
Probably.
like, there's a couple guys who are, like economist, geopolitical analyst kind of guys who I've met over the years who are extraordinary or
Oh,
like
yeah.
commentators, something like that. But for the most part, it's just going to go really well for somebody if they like are brilliant in business because it's my pet or a brilliant trader because I love talking about stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Goes really
Well,
well for
thanks.
really smart men.
Really well for really smart men. That seems like an obvious one to me. So we have the
Yeah.
list of criteria.
Mhm.
So anyone listening who would like to apply, let me know.
The last guy I was interested in, life was not lifing for the two of us. We had very different
Mm,
life preferences, right? And we had he's religious in a specific religion that I'm not religious in, and he absolutely does not drink or like weed. And we were so attracted to each other, but high sea level at a Fortune 10. Fortune 100,
Mm.
Fortune 25,
Yeah.
and 5 advanced degrees. That's the
Oh
kind of
my
person I'm
God.
interested in. Yeah. Brilliant. 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 Good friend. Mhm.
Good friend,
Mhm.
but not a good match.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, I was
So
going to ask you that.
unfortunate. So unfortunate. Probably the only person I have been attracted to in the last 7 years.
Wow. I
Mhm.
was going to ask you that about religion
Mhm.
and drugs and alcohol. Where do you stand on those things in terms of men that you would date seriously?
Religion, totally fine. Any religion, totally fine.
Okay.
However, not like super their identity. Not like
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
yeah, not like they need to date a person in that religion.
Right.
I
Right.
don't want to be a shiksa. I don't mind being described as that before. I was wearing it like a badge of honor, and he was like, "Oh, that's not good," and I'm like, "It's fine,
That's not good.
it's fine by me." Um, but because I just thought it was funny. Well, and drugs and alcohol, I don't know because I feel like I'm about to give up weed and alcohol both.
Mm,
So I don't really know. However, generally speaking, when I didn't drink at all and didn't
mhm.
smoke weed at all, which was most of my adult life, which was from 22 to 47, like a lot of people don't realize, I barely drank at all until I was, I don't even know, 42. And I did not smoke weed at all or take weed at all until I was 47, which is 4 years ago.
Wow.
I know. I know. So this is a very recent thing for me. However, I always dated people that had whatever preference they had, but nothing to excess. So probably, most likely not somebody who has zero tolerance, and most likely, for sure, not somebody who does things to excess.
Yeah, that's
But
a
I've
good way of
certainly
putting
dated
it.
guys that are
So,
sober, and that's totally fine. Then I just
mhm,
don't drink or do.
mhm,
I'm also sober. But
mhm.
right now, I would like somebody, I would love somebody that I could like have a summer shandy with in the backyard in Colorado. I have a whole dream backyard that I want to build out in Boulder. And I would love somebody that like I could have a glass of wine with by the fire when it snows or make a, marijuana hot chocolate when we're snowed in and hang out. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you feel on the topic of where you see yourself in the future with, would you rather be single? Would you rather be partnered? Like what is that vision for you? Spin it out for us 10 years down the road.
I do like having a partner. I really do.
Mm,
I really do.
okay.
However, I also really just reconciled recently. I literally don't care if I ever go on another date again. But I do also like having a partner. Oh, other criteria, and I know I'm not trying to say anything about this. I'm really not, but I
Okay.
really am 5'10" and I like to wear heels, which makes me 6'2", so I do like a tall guy.
A
Tall,
tall guy too.
outdoorsy, lumberjacky. That's I like a guy who looks comfortable outside. Mhm.
Nice.
Mhm.
It's a good picture. You painted a good picture.
Mhm.
All right. So tell us a story then. Well, I mean, I would say tell us the worst date ever, but if you all didn't listen to the Morbid podcast,
Girl, what's funny about
fan,
that?
if you
Because I
didn't
have
listen to the fan tale, that has got to be your worst date ever.
I swear to God. So my dream is that Ash and Elena hear this. I hope it hits their ears. I hope that Ash and Elena hear my listener's tale, but because that is the worst date. So if you want to hear that, go just type in Andrea Lake 101 dedication to the morbid podcast. It's that episode. That's the worst date.
That has got to be the worst date. And I just feel
No
like I don't want to give
contest.
yeah, no, no contest. Listen to the whole episode because the whole story is so amazing.
That time I
It's a
almost
good
ended
teaser.
up hogtied and bound living in a chest at the end of someone's bed who potentially was troubled.
May very well have been a sociopath.
Almost for sure.
Okay,
A psychopath.
aside from that, can you tell us a worst date story? Just like something that went wrong. Either you did something embarrassing or they did something that really bothered you.
No. Here's the thing. I haven't been on a lot of dates. I'm not joking. I'm like a serial monogamy kind of a chick, and so
Yeah.
there's been very few men in life who pursued me usually really hard, who I already decided that I was going to date them by the time we went on a date. So I don't like I haven't dated really for all intents and purpose. And then I had the stalker. So I really didn't date. So I would have to
Mm.
know for sure that I was like, I actually could date you. I went on like a couple of online dates. I think it was the second online date that I met this guy in Boulder that I dated. And I went on a previous online date to that, and that guy was super nice. So I didn't really, yeah, I just didn't date very much.
Yeah, it's true. And you don't really date because you're meeting people through friends and through events
Right.
that you're going through, right? So it's not, yeah, it's not
So we've
dating in
hung
the
out
sense of
like
like getting
a
on an
few
app and
times. Yeah.
going with a random person. Right. Right.
Right. So
Okay,
by the
that's
time
fair.
yeah, by the time that I go on a date with someone,
Yeah.
we've hung out a few times. I had one guy when I was at the Winston house, and he asked me to go to whatever, like leave here and go have dinner with him specifically. Such a handsome guy. He knows who he is. And then we were at dinner, and he was like, "Oh, should we split this?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought this was a date." But I was like, "Sure, of course." I had no commentary. And then he was like, "Will I see you again soon?" And I was like, "I'm sure that we'll run into each other around town." And he was like, "What?" Because he was so handsome and so whatever. And I was
Ooh.
like, "Oh no, what the fuck just said this? 50 Cent just said this. Like, you asked me to go with you to this date and leave a party that I was hosting to go have dinner with you, and then you want to split that? Okay, cool. 0% chance we ever will go out again. Not one, not a 0% chance."
Okay, so that's a bad date story. Then that could be your worst date story aside
He's such a
from
nice guy. He's
almost
a really good
hogtied
friend
in
of
it.
mine now.
Okay, all right, okay,
And
okay.
also I didn't like his company was struggling, and I didn't know that. And like,
Okay, okay, okay.
and
Context.
also, in all fairness to men, a lot of like high-powered women, they like to split the date. And I was like, "What? You have been brainwashed. You do not like to split the date,
Oh
honey.
my God, that was going to be my next question for you. How do you feel about? I'm so with you. I'm like, no, you
Stop
can
it right
pay
now."
the bill. Stop it right now. I mean, I am a child of the 80s.
Well, also, let's talk about something that I actually posted online years ago and got viciously attacked for. And I was like, "Go fuck yourself." A woman spends a woman that is scraping by spends $1,000 on beauty a year. Okay.
That's right. Hello, hair.
A woman,
Hello,
a woman like
makeup.
MeiMei and I'm going to
Love.
tell you the real price. These lashes, $119 per fill, 200 if I need a full thing. I tip Tracy, my lash artist over at Routine
Hi,
Beauty.
Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. I would tip her anywhere from $60 to $100 because it takes her 2 or 3 hours to do my lashes. So I'll tip her anywhere from $20 to $30 an hour. Hair, oh, hundreds, 400, cut and
Hair.
color,
So much. Oh my
something
God.
with
Yes.
tip, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Every lipstick that I own, $25.
Yeah.
Every eyeshadow
Oh
palette
yeah.
that I own, $25 to $50. Foundation, $50. Bikini wax, if you're fucking so lucky that you are beyond, $150 every 6 weeks. The cost of maintaining beauty for a woman is astronomical. A woman like you or me, what do we spend on beauty a year? 20, 30, 40, $50,000. You're telling me you don't want to take me to dinner? Go fuck you. Go fuck yourself, because then nobody else is fucking you.
Yes. I love that. And let the roasting begin because yes,
Right. I
yes
know.
to
And I know
that.
that women get attacked for that, but I'm like, look, a woman, a woman like me, I'm just going to be really straight because this is the dirty tea episode. A woman like me, whoever pays, that is just a gesture.
Thing is, you already told me you want someone who's successful and extraordinary. So, I mean, we're not talking, and you are also. So, we're not actually talking about money. We're
Yeah,
talking about a symbol. And to me, it feels respectful. I'm sorry, it does. It's
it
respectful.
does. Even
Yeah.
even if you're like really getting by and you're taking your woman to Taco Bell, which a whole fucking lot of people love Taco Bell, you're paying for that because she probably got a new outfit to go out with you. She probably shaved her legs. She probably put
Hmm.
on makeup. You took
Hmm.
a shower and went and picked her up. You're fine. You buy
You're
the
fine.
$10 meal and
Do
plan
it.
for that and plan for that. and get her flowers. Men, come on. There's so many men who are like, oh, it's a male loneliness epidemic. And I'm like, I understand that. And I do. And I listen to Scott Galloway and I love his content. And I agree. And also, I want young men to hear all you have to do is listen to what a woman has to say and you'll be
Mm.
fine. You'll get a girlfriend. Listen, care
Oh,
about what she has to say, care about what she has to say, and take her out. And if you can't afford to take her out, make her lunch and take her on a picnic. You could bring her peanut
yes.
butter sandwiches and chips and take her on a picnic and you'd be fine. Hmm?
I have this girlfriend who I love. She's so wonderful, so smart, and like a tech executive. But I swear, like every man she ever goes on a date with, if they just listen and they just show that they're compassionate and they like ask her questions
Literally.
about her life, she falls head over heels in love with them. And I'm like, slow down. Like you don't even know who this guy. But literally, that's all it takes. All it takes is them showing a little compassion and empathy and being like, wow, that must be hard. Your mom's getting older and has dementia. I mean, that's all it takes.
Yeah. 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 Younger, so no. But
Mm.
I feel like a lot of men are getting some very, very bad messaging because there's a lot of young men that I've met that seem almost like defensively, like we don't like women because we are afraid we're going to be rejected. And I'm like, it honestly doesn't matter what you look like. So many women look like so many things. There's so many people that want a boyfriend and so many people that want a girlfriend. And there's so
Yes.
much mixing and matching that can happen. And you're being convinced that that's not the case, but there's someone for everyone. There's a million people for everyone. If 99% of the whole entire Earth population finds you unattractive, that still means there's 70 million people that find you attractive. Fucking stop whining.
There you go. Yeah.
There's this, there's not now. There's like, I think there's like 8.5 or 9 billion people on Earth. So there's 90 million people who find you attractive if you are only attracted to 1% of the population. So you're fine.
You're fine.
Go
And
find
all
somebody.
you
You're
have to
fine.
do is listen. Yeah.
And care
All you
about
have
what
to
the
do
other
is
person has
listen.
to say on both sides. On both
Yes.
sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've given great dating advice.
Mhm.
You're already giving great financial advice and business advice, and now you're getting great dating advice. Tell
Single
us
as a
about your.
Pringle. I don't know how good my dating advice is. So take it with what you
Come
will. I
on.
do not have a partner. No, I'm just kidding. It is good. It is good.
What?
It is
Tell
good.
us your favorite romantic experience, dating
Oh,
experience.
Jack. Oh, Jack. There's literally a tie for two, and they're both Jack. And Jack was such a romantic rom-com guy because Jack was not confused. Jack was 0% confused. One of the reasons that I never used Jack's real name, first of all, is because social media didn't exist. It would be hard for people to figure out who Jack was. There's no history on social media of us dating. There never was because social media was not a thing. And so because we dated and I think I was 30, so whenever that was 94 2004, so it was before I was
Okay.
active on social media. And oh my God, there's so many things. The way that Jack won me over, because I was not dating anyone, because I was getting over a heartbreak when I met Jack. So
Mm,
yeah, I know. And so Jack had a mission, which was to date me. And he had actually gotten married super young and had been very recently divorced, like within a year, and had not. So I was the second person in his life that he ever dated. And he had grown up not well off and had made millions and millions of dollars in his tech company. And then he met me and he's like, oh my God, you could be like my ride or die kind of a chick. And I was like,
mm.
I'm heartbroken right now. I don't even see men. Who even are you? Did I ever tell the story of the Schwarzenegger inauguration on the podcast?
I can't 100%. I know this story,
Okay, I'm going to tell the
but I don't know. You
30-second
why
version.
not tell it anyway? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, why wouldn't you retell it anyway?
So Jack
Yeah.
keeps coming to Sedona right when I had moved there like 22 years ago. And his manufacturing reasons, which I didn't realize. I actually thought he had a client in Phoenix, but which was untrue. He would just say, I have a client in Phoenix, so I have to like go to Sedona. And I didn't, it wasn't until we were dating for like a year or 2 years or something that he told me, he's like, it was a year. I think it was at our 1-year anniversary. He's like, I didn't have a client in Sedona. I was like, that's
Oh,
hysterical.
I
It's so
love that.
sweet. And And he was probably not used to hearing no. He was a very attractive guy. He was a competitive jiu-jitsu fighter and a self-made multimillionaire who looks like a movie star. This is not hearing no a lot. And I am heartbroken personally recently over someone that I was in love with, that I thought was the love of my life. Spoiler alert, was not. So I wasn't dating, and he kept making it clear that he wanted to date, and I kept making it clear that I did not want to date him. So he calls me one day and says, turn on the TV. And because my housemate had a television, I did not own one. And I said, what channel? He said, any of them. And I said, and I was like, who the fuck are you, super spy? What? So I turn on the TV, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the television, and Jack is behind him on stage during his announcement that he's going to be running for governor. And Jack says to me on the phone, will you go on a date with me now? Because he's like, you want a power hitter, right? I'm fucking going places. And I'm like, who even the fuck are you? But I said, you care so much that this is clearly a peak moment in your life. And you're using this moment to ask me yet again on a date that I've declined you for already. And I don't want to encourage this behavior, but there was always a spark between us. Clearly, I was taking his call. He was still coming to visit and staying at my house when he would come to town, in my guest room, not in my room. And he was like, I would very much like to stay across the hall. And I'm like, I'm guessing you would. Long story short, I went on a date with him, and we ended up dating for 4.5 years. And on our 1-year anniversary, he took me back to the bed and breakfast we went to the first time that we went away. And it was so creepy. Like, it had been sold, and the guy that it was sold to looked like an axe murderer. And yeah, and I'm super creeped out by Victorian things. This is where I differ with Elena from the Morbid podcast. And Ash both. They talk about that a lot. They're like, we have this really old Victorian house. And I'm like, what? No. So there's this creepy ass fucking porcelain face doll in the corner in a rocking chair. That's the right face. That's the right face, the one that MeiMei just made. If you are listening on audio only, the exact face of shock and horror that MeiMei has right now is the correct response. And the dude
in your hotel room?
Yes. In the same hotel room that we had stayed in a year ago, that was super cute and quaint. And like, the owners, who I believe had been a lesbian couple, made us like the best quiche we ever had eaten in our life. We loved going to bed and breakfasts. Bed and breakfasts are not as much a thing right now as they used to be.
Yeah.
If you guys are young and you've never been to a bed and breakfast, you guys go. They're so fun.
Sweet. They're so sweet. They still do them really well in Europe, I'll say, for the record.
Yes, you're a million percent right.
Okay, so you could take the doll and put it in the closet, presumably.
Yeah, the teeny tiny little closet with a little door that had been added since we've been there the previous time, where you had to bend down like a child to get through a child-sized door to go into a creepy crawl space. We could have put it in there, except for it was locked. And then the owner was in the kitchen like a fucking Stephen King movie. I was like, no, 0%. Nope. This
not staying here.
No, that I don't even have enough now. And we're supposed to stay there for 3 days, and it was prepaid. And we go into the hotel room, and Jack goes, this is what we like to call a sunk cost.
That's so good.
And he rebooked our hotel to actually.
Oh, I love him. He's not like, we're not going home. We're not going to go camping.
That's
like,
right.
we're just letting it go.
What was the ski resort that Summit Base Camp in 2012 was at in Lake Tahoe?
Oh God, somewhere in Tahoe. Yeah, I'm not going to remember.
It's that, I think it's not Squamish.
Squamish,
somewhere else. Wait, the magic.
Squamish is in Canada.
Yo, you're right. Wait,
I don't know. I don't remember these things, Andrea. Like, my memory does not. I know it was in Tahoe, and that's what I know.
I'll pick this up on another episode.
This is what my brain remembers.
It's
Base Camp Tahoe.
So he
it was beautiful.
a suite a beautiful, like the most
Oh,
beautiful suite at the penthouse of that hotel after he had already paid for a 3-day thing in Tahoe. I fucking
oh,
shit you not. So then we're leaving. This is the most ridiculous story. And this will be the last story and we'll wrap here and we're gonna do a part 2. Mamie and I have said that we're gonna do a part 2. So just be on the lookout for that. It'll come up in the next couple weeks. We go there. We're leaving this beautiful trip that we had then for the next 3 days in Tahoe. We have been to Tahoe before in the summer, and I've been many times in the summer. I had never been in the winter before. It's so beautiful in Tahoe in the winter. And we're driving home. He has splits his time at this point in his life between San Francisco and Sacramento. I'm not really sure which one we're going to, but all of a sudden, I'm a road trip kind of a gal. And we're on a road trip, and I'm like, this is not towards Sacramento or San Francisco. Where are we going? Because we're going down this like windy mountain passage. And he was like, well, there's a second part of the trip. And I was like, huh? And we pull up at Yosemite, and he had rented the entire top floor of the Inn of the Ahwahnee in Yosemite with a private butler to cook us a private dinner for the second part of our anniversary date. Because he had grown up literally actually like probably under the poverty line. And
oh,
with a hard working family, but like they were starting anyway, it's a whole story, but they did not have a lot of cash. And he made all
mm.
this money and he's like, you're the woman that I want to be with. So the over the top romantic gestures were insane. The other story, that's number one. Then we go to the Inn of the Ahwahnee. The butler like makes us our dinner. He gives me a custom made diamond ring that he designed himself and says, don't worry, like this is not an engagement ring, and a custom made diamond necklace.
Oh my gosh.
And then
This really is
it
romantic
was
and over the
ridiculous.
top. Oh.
And then the following, like, I don't remember, like maybe the next summer we were going to potentially go to Europe together. But either way, I was going to go take a 5-week road trip through Europe by myself. If he wanted to join, maybe he would join. He was supposed to join, but like his businesses were popping off. And so I ended up going by myself, and I call him from the airport in Rome, in Roma. And I'm like, I'm at this airport hotel the night before my flight, and I am so sick. And this is before
Mm.
everybody understood the COVIDs and PPE, and people just flew when they had the flu. People just got on airplanes when they had the flu, and they didn't
That
know
was
any
fun.
better because the internet didn't exist, and I didn't know any better, and I really was so sick and got on an airplane, which is a bad idea for everyone. It's a bad idea for everybody else, and it's a bad idea for your respiratory system. But I did. I said, well, I'm just going to go sleep in my hotel room on my layover. And he's like, really? Where are you staying? And I said, oh, I'm going to be at, whatever, the W Hotel in Union Square. And they have a room service done by Tom English. So like you have Michelin star room service at this place. So I already had like picked out my shit and the sexy fries, which were $14. I'm like, I'm trying all the fucking room service shit and I'm just going to be sick in my hotel room. He's like, okay, that sounds fine. So I fly into JFK and I go through customs, and who is waiting on the other side of customs? He lives in San Francisco and he knows I
Shut.
have the flu.
He flew from San Francisco.
He flew from San Francisco to New York for a 36-hour layover during which I had the flu and was so sick. And I'm not trying to be.
That is the most romantic thing I've ever
It
heard.
was ridiculous. And
That, I
also,
mean, the top floor of the hotel is very like Pretty Woman, like lots of money, glamorous, but
he was the whole thing. He was the whole package.
that
It's
is like
ridiculous that we didn't get
really, that
married.
is so thoughtful. That is so above and beyond. And to get
It was
on a
ridiculous.
plane and fly across country,
Knowing that
knowing that you were sick.
not only that, like, ladies, I'm telling this part for you. He knew that not
Oh,
only was I sick, but I started my cycle that morning. So I was sick with the flu and had the worst cramps of my life. And I'm like, I'm crying on the
oh
phone.
my God.
And I'm
Oh.
like, I just don't even, it's fine. And I had a fear of flying. And the reason, like, Jack took me on my first overseas flight to
Hmm.
Hawaii for my 30th birthday, he gave me a binder, and the binder inside
Oh,
he had already flown in all of my friends to Sedona for a birthday party. I'm not shitting you. Surprised me with every single one of my friends in Sedona. And I was like,
oh
this
my God.
the first time I was on national TV was on the morning of my 30th birthday, on, like, a Good Morning show, and drove me to Phoenix to be on TV at 4 AM, and then drove me home after flying in 7 of my friends across the country for my 30th birthday. And he was like, "We're not actually going home, though. We're going to Santa Fe for your real birthday." And then he gave me my real birthday present, which was a Valentine's trip to Kauai. And it had like a whole layout of every single thing that we're going to do. He was ridiculous. He was like, "You are my wife, and I will treat you like the queen princess that you are forever for the rest of your life." And I was a child, and I did not understand how good that was. I didn't know how good I had it with Jack.
So why are you not married to Jack then?
Because I was a kid when I knew him, and then some other woman did not
Mm,
make my mistake.
got
But
it.
actually, the truth of the matter is if we would have wanted to get married,
Yeah.
we would have, and so
Yeah.
there was always something between the 2 of us
Okay.
that was magic, and there was always something between the 2 of us
Mm,
that wasn't right.
that wasn't going to work. Yeah. Yeah, that
I
happens.
didn't regret that and miss the boat, and he didn't
Okay.
regret that backwards and miss
Okay.
the boat. He's very happy,
Okay.
and I'm very happy for him, and I'm very happy too, even though I'm single. But I didn't finish the New York story, so he knew that I had the
Oh,
worst cramps of my life, and I had been afraid of flying, which is why he got me the trip to Hawaii, because I was on a flight where the power got cut out mid-flight and we plummeted.
oh my God.
Yes, on a Southwest flight many, many years ago, that must have been and I was with, like, my brother and my
Whoa.
mom, I think we were flying back from, like, Las Vegas the year after my dad died, and, like, the power got cut off. It didn't plummet hundreds of feet, I'm sorry, it plummeted, like, maybe 10 or 15 or 20 feet. It plummeted, like but it felt like we dropped out of the sky. I've been on some other terrible flights, this was not the worst one. It felt like we were plummeting out of the sky and I was gonna die. It felt like we were gonna die right now, to me, who already was not super comfortable with flying, and
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Mm.
so Jack took me on an overseas flight, and it's the first time that I ever was in a true, true heavy jet, and I didn't realize how much more secure feeling that
Yeah.
planes that don't do commuter hoppers,
Yeah.
planes that go overseas were, and so then I wanted to take a flight on a real plane, which I did to Europe, so he was supposed to meet me,
Okay.
didn't meet me because life, and then I called him from that airport, and when he flew in from San Francisco, he had 2 dozen roses and was waiting for me. And then we get in the cab to go to the hotel, which he had already prearranged. It was probably, like, before Uber existed, it was probably a nice car, and then we walk into the hotel, and all of the room service that I had talked about earlier is already pre-ordered and had just got there, like, 2 minutes before we arrived. He was that guy. He was ridiculous.
What? That
He was
is next
ridiculous, and he
level
was
thoughtful.
in love with me.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, that is a perfect note to end on. I love that story so much.
Yeah.
Bye,
I want, like, the
Jack.
Jack now that I actually am a grown up and can love back.
Yeah.
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 That boys, if you are listening,
Yeah.
you most likely have no shot, right? Because I've just described the perfect human. But if you are
But
listening
you
and you
know
are that
what? That gives
guy,
you a damn good idea of some of the nice things. You don't have to spend all the money in the world. If your person who you're courting
thoughtful.
is like this hotel is freaking me out, leave. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be
If you can.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to stay. You can go do
Wait,
something else.
I actually want for the women out there to explain to them what I did in return.
Okay.
Aside from the fact that maybe I really am a tiger, maybe that guy on the plane had that right. However, beyond that, because obviously I am. So
Obviously.
beyond that, it was Jack's 30th birthday. Mine was first. He was like very slightly younger than me, if I remember right. And I surprised him with a cabin. It was right outside of Durango. I can't. Oh, Blue Lake Lodge or something similar to that. That's not the name of it. It was something similar in Hesperus, Colorado. And we had this whole cabin to ourselves. And then the morning we got there, like this yoga instructor showed up and gave us a yoga thing.
Mm.
And then I bought all of these little kid games from back then Target. We don't shop at Target anymore, but back then Target, and got all these little kid games and said, "We're going to have little kid birthday," because we used to have little kid Christmas because they didn't celebrate Christmas in his religion. And I was like, "We're going to have little kid Christmas. We're going to like do opposite sides of the bed and wrap our presents and do stuff for each other." And then we had little kid birthday where we played like silly games and did like a private yoga class and watched little like movies from the 80s that reminded us of our nostalgia. And I would make like little picnics for him. Like I love to care for my man too, in the way that a woman
Mm.
cares for a man. But I love for a man to be like, Wow, sometimes I feel like I take care of a woman because I have to, but with you, you absolutely can take care of yourself, so I get to take care of a woman because I want to, and vice
That's
versa.
beautiful.
Mhm,
That's beautiful.
mhm. That's it.
There you
All
go.
right. Well, I hope you liked us for this session of Dirty Tea. We are going to do part 2 in the next couple of weeks. Ms. MeiMei Fox, please follow her on Instagram at MeiMei Fox. On Instagram, MEIMAIFOX. And she is a New York Times #1 bestselling author. She has co-written a book with the Dalai Lama. She is the author of my upcoming book. You're going to think I'm a pathological liar. MeiMei, who else have you written books for?
Many. I mean, so 2 have been Oprah's book list
Woo!
selections. 2 have been New York Times bestsellers. Yeah.
Girl!
Well, I guess I would. They're beautiful books. Like they all have deep heart and meaning. You know, like the Five Invitations is Frank Ostaseski, who
Yep.
spent decades running the Zen hospice and sitting bedside with people as they were dying. I mean, that is a beautiful book. If you want to read a beautiful book, go buy the Five Invitations. It
Mhm.
has so much heart and soul and spirituality, but really also very practical life lessons from people who are dying.
Tell me about
So
Ping's
there's a
book.
good one. Ping Fu.
Mhm.
So Ping Fu is this extraordinary epic person who grew up in China during the Cultural Revolution, which meant that her parents got shipped off to work the fields as farmers because they were educated, God forbid. And she grew up without parents and without education. Okay. Like basically talk about feral. Like you think were feral. She was completely feral on her own, raising her little sister from like age 10. And then she managed to test at the top of the national exams, get into the top university, make it to the US when she was in her early 20s, go to graduate school and became a mathematician and invented 3D printing company. That is the reason there's Invisalign braces.
Yep.
Sat on Obama's Council on Entrepreneurship.
No big deal, just
So
like we all
like,
did.
I mean, just you're just like, how does that even happen? How do people even do that? You know?
Mind
Like
bending.
talk about resilience. Like the theme of her book is resilience.
Mhm.
And it's
Yep.
just, just have been through massive trauma, so resilient. So that's a
Got
really
kicked out of her
inspirational
own
book as well.
company and won it back, right?
And then got kicked out of her own company at one point. Yeah, she's got good business lessons. It's like each chapter is a business lesson and then looks back on a piece of her childhood life. So it's got both. Yeah,
You
those are some
guys,
of the
MeiMei
books.
Fox writes
Fun books.
interesting books about interesting
Yeah, and
people.
then I help
You
you
should be
guys write your
following
books.
her.
That's the most important thing. The most
Oh,
important thing is I help you write your books. So I
yes.
help people share their stories. That's my passion. And my company does book coaching, ghostwriting, publishing now. And we collaborate with you any which way, course, whatever, however you want to work with us to help you get your stories out. I am working on my own book. I am working on Andrea's book. I have a couple children's books. I have
She
some
has another
poems
book
that made
about a
it into
very cool
books.
person that I'm not allowed to say who it is, but I know who it is. She's working on another book. This
Oh,
some bitch
yeah.
way
That's
cooler than
a
I am.
very cool, very cool, very
Way
cool
cooler than
woman.
I am.
Yeah.
But and I can't wait
Way
to be
cool
able to
chick.
talk to you
Yeah.
about we're going to have you on this show to talk about that
Yeah.
book because I fucking can't
For
wait
sure.
to read that book. Are you
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
chick
Power chick
mafia?
for sure. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Has
So I
touched
love
the
it. I
lives of
love that I
lots of
get to hang
people.
out. I love I get to hang out with people like you and her and like just Ping and Frank Ostaseski, just very cool, cool, amazing, beautiful
And the
humans.
Dalai Lama.
The Dalai Lama didn't get to hang out with directly, however, must be
Oh, well.
noted. Worked with him through Howard Cutler, who was co-authoring the book. I did work on a book by the Dalai Lama. Yes, I did. That was The Art of Happiness in a Troubled World, but I didn't get to work directly with him. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, MeiMei, thank you
Ah.
for all of the dirty tea and thank you for telling us more about yourself. And I cannot wait to ask you about the book you're writing right now once it's out. I'm so excited for it. Anyway, you guys, we hope you liked this episode of Andrea Lake 101, where in fact, I hope you had some wine. I hope you had some popcorn because we brought all of the fucking dirty tea.
Good times. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, girl. We'll see you next time.
Bye.